So we're wrapping up show 91, or we're starting show 92 with the same old ditties on the same old six string I've been playing for 26 years. It's 31 years old. Well, I mean, as far as bought off the shelves, it was probably bought around winter winter or spring 1990, probably closer to spring 1990. And then I started playing it when I was 4. Of course, when I was 4, Keelan was 7 and probably had already been playing the guitar. So, well, she was on the East Coast, I suppose. There's stories to get into that. And for now we're just gonna go ahead and attempt to do the ditties at with Sans Parrot, as he's buried maybe 7 days ago now. So. so I'm a little bit burned out at guitar, so I'll switch over to a little talk. This is there were several public public service announcements that needed to be made over the course of so far 91 hours. I haven't read it all out and written it down, but it's I've said it over. I told you once, I told you 1,000 times, and if I tell you again, it's another 1,000 times of me telling you that second time says so. But I try and tell each service announcement once on the per show, and we're on show 91, season 3 now, so and so I've been on meds. I got a bit of an injury back in July 2008, and I was given well, first I was given well, eventually I was given within the next 6 weeks I'd be given 12 milligram risperidone every 12 hours and a 30 milligram risperidone administered once a week, and that would last up for a couple or a few years. And I do my best to kick and scream and says I don't want the meds. And in the rents it says, well, he doesn't want the meds. We don't want the meds either. And they says, well, he has to have his meds or else. And we go, or else what? And it was kind of open ended. We just kind of sort of got the iron fist in the velvet glove, and he needs his meds, and we went along with this. Uh, uh, if your horse says that he needs his meds, then we eats the meds. That's what the Fuhrer says, and so something similar not giving them back a total disrespect, as the meds were a sort of a mandatory thing, or else hospitalization and all doses would be administered whilst I sit in a schmuck for the next 10 to 15 years, eating a dose every 12 hours or every 24 hours and being administered once a week, or not. Or not well, yeah, if I was kicking and screaming in that setting, they wouldn't let me leave. They just turned me comatose and pumped me uh, every uh, however they see fit, and instead I get to eat them at in regiment in a program, not a sober program. I was in the addict. I developed an injury, sort of like a broken arm, but somewhere in the brain there, like from a head trauma. Like say you're walking along the streets and you're NYPD baby blues, and someone shoots you in the back of the head or in the front of the head, and you drop to the ground, but you stay alive, and then you get picked up and you brought to the ER, and we give you neurosurgery, ICU, ER, something, and then a little bit of a oh, well, look at that, a spectacular recovery. He's got what 80% brain function, but he's a normal person enough to pay taxes or continue some sort of position. As far as New York City was concerned, I was healthy enough to just walk my way out. So I took the train back home, and they said, "Ooh, you got a bit of an injury." And I said, "Yeah, well, we don't owe anything as far as money." "Oh, very well. So what else would you like to do this summer?" And I hope you're not going to say you'd like to be an explorer on the police force somewhere else. As I go, "Oh no, I want to see Gathering of the Vibes. I want to go to New London Sail Fest." And go, okay. So after when summer was on its way done, they had second thoughts, and they said, well, we really should get him checked out, because that seems like an awfully nasty scar, and he's just not quite himself. He seems a bit retarded. So they suggested risperidone once every 24 hours at the least for the next 10 to 15 years. And we said, that's enough meds to kill a horse. And they said, well, he didn't die from the bullet, so why would you think he died from something that's regrowing his brain? Well, no, thank you. And we tried to get on our way out, and they said, well, we'll hunt you down and gut you like a fish. No, hunt you down and gut you like a fish. No, we'll steal him um, because we say so, and force the meds on him so he doesn't just die randomly, unless you make sure he eats his meds on his own. So I ate my meds on my own. It was 4,100 days so far. It was 3,600 consecutive days of risperidone ingestion, and then it's been, I lost count at, say, 400 days of Vraylar ingestion, pills, yeah, or oral dissolved tab. For now, I'm on 3 milligram Verlers. Next month, I'll be on 1 milligram Verlers. And the month after that begins my 3 months of letting the meds turn to urine, sweat, fecal, out of the system. Make sure there's no meds in me whatsoever. And then on month 4, I should be considered sober, and will be living my first day without these chemicals in my system. That 11 years, first day in 11 years. So that was one. It was the meds, and I don't recommend them. They kill people. They injure people. One of the side effects is sudden death. Long, prolonged use can have lifelong side effects. Negative, has negative as sudden death, such as heart attacks, or close to heart attacks, strokes, seizures, multiple types of seizures. That's just fainting spells with twitches, or the grand mal even. It'll cause loss of senses. Pick a sense, any sense, you might lose it. Irritable bowels, impotence, and more. Could cause cancer, for crying out loud. Liver failure, kidney failure, etc. So there's that, and I'm very lucky that they've agreed with me at least half-heartedly over these past well, and I've been getting out of bed myself, up once every 24 hours, and you can't just take a pill once you're out of bed. You gotta go through with the 3 meals and the poop, shave, and shower. Um, Maybe a little bit of make special with the boy parts, but no reproductions during that entire whiles, as it'll cause birth defects similar to 3 pack a day tobacco or heavy alcoholism and etc. So maybe I can try dating or courting or something, in 3, 4, 5.5 months, or closer to 5 months, maybe about half a year, maybe at least put it in a cup so someone can turkey baste it. Then says, um, getting into that, the mate would be a female at least, but no, someone racially. I know. Humans are humans, and it takes a female to make a kid with a male, and that's that. And everyone's the same. And well, I'm 12.5% Cherokee, 12.5% Lenape, 38% Scandinavian Nordic, not a Scandinavian Caucasian, a Scandinavian Nordic. 25% Scottish Caucasian, and 12.5% in, non-Germanic Indigenous Swiss Aryan. So there's a bunch of different traits that go along with that. It's the blonde hair, blue eyes, red skin or pink skin. And then with the Lenni-Lenapes, it's a brown that goes to a red black, and then the Cherokee, it's a brown that goes to a black red, and then there was the iris changes color quite often. Multiple color eyes. The hair will go from a blonde to a brown to a black to a red. It doesn't really do blue much or green, but I've seen purple eyes in me too. So the life story is the next one. We'll start at my birth being announced to Nassau Coliseum, Uniondale, New York, into a live crowd of 600,000 people. That's not studio album. It's Nassau. It's called The Grateful Dead's Wake Up to Find Out. It's a 329.90. Nassau Coliseum, Uniondale, New York, a crowd of 600,000 people. And the story with that and how I got accepted for that is back in 1987, a blood tied family member, nameless, sugary, travels from the back of the furthest parking lot up to the front of the stage. Uh, it screams out, and the stage Steely says, "Take my hand." He gets pulled on stage. He spends 2 weeks with the band, and he helps the band as a stagehand, as a band member, not a front man, but a band member, record Nightfall of Diamonds at Brandenburg Arena. And so he works and continues that gig from 1987 to the passing of Jerry in 1995. And a month after I'm born, after the Wake Up to Find Out album, Brent comes, drops everything he's doing with the band to visit me as a newborn baby. Now that I'm freshly released from the hospital, and mom is okay, and so he holds me in his arms and says, "Oh boy, am I gonna raise you." along with a small tribe of the original founding members, the Grateful Dead, and then there was the Midland Girls and Keelan Garcia, and more. And that's on Grateful Dead Productions Home Movies. It's an underground bootleg VHS for the longest while. I'm sure it's on plenty of hundreds, thousands DVDs, and passed along the states and things. And it's sort of a it's not a Hollywood thing like the NASA 329 1990 soundboards to that particular show. Um, it wasn't a front man; it was some mysterious Grateful Dead character, band member. That you'll get pictures of, and all sorts of disinformation on this site, and these GDP underground fan fiction might have it right, and this. Well, the internet around here is kind of skewed. For Squirrely's Cat Fat Cousins was another PSA. Okay, we'll continue with the light. Would rather, but we'll continue with my life story. So I turned 4. I get enrolled in private school for submarine. They call it the Yellow Submarine for 4-year-olds back then. It was out of a children's daycare thing where you get can grasp private sponsors, tutors to help teach you a singular subject through. Once you hit 5, you'll be in K through 12, and in kindergarten they'll says, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'll say submarine. I've been doing it for a year already. And so I did submarine private tutors up until, say, on and off every other boat that's ever been made, right in my backyard. Just a 15-minute run from the Fort Trumbull nuclear submarine parking spot. You'll see the White House on the Grateful Dead Productions Home Movies. I think there's neighbors rounding the shoe. We're gonna have to cut this off. Chickity check, check. 3, 2. Unless you got money or documents to show it, it's a crock of garbage that doesn't exist.